nicely done. Hoyland. Oh yes, he must score surely. They have. Jamie Hoyland has done the impossible. Oh, on the spot. Big. Chris Hussey's got space in defence. Hussey inside the box. Tries to square it back. An opportunity. It's there. Top zone. And Bury take the lead.
One leaves a crowded base with the very important goal there. He's got the right foot.
He shot. Oh, what a big goal.
And still the mighty Shakers.
Hello and welcome back to the Mighty Shakers podcast, Season 3, Episode 15, proudly sponsored by BIMTech Engineering, Eye Level Sunglasses and AC Ventilation. And today's guest is very special. He's the answer to who put the ball in the Spyrites net. It's David Worrall. Dave, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
And the question we ask everyone when they join is, what is your first memory of buryfc?
Probably getting a text on a Sunday morning from one of my mates' dads from school. He texted my dad to see if we could fill in for Bury. I think it was under 14s or under 15s because he was a bit short. And I wasn't at no academies or centre of excellence back then. So he just texted me saying if I could make the numbers up. And I had a good game. And then he wanted to sign me. I'm sure it was under 15s, I think it was. In the centre of excellence. So yeah, it just happened.
So like before that, what you were just like Sunday League essentially?
Yeah, I was just playing grassroots. Just for like a couple of local teams.
And I suppose that it's obviously a dream of everyone, young kids everywhere to play football. But did you ever feel it would come to you if you were only just playing grassroots and it was like this big surprise?
No, previously I was at Chesterfield for a year, and then I went to Everton for 3 years after that, and then didn't work out at Everton, so I kind of just went back to grassroots, and I wasn't really fussed, about football. I loved it, loved playing it, but I didn't really have a desire to just go, be somewhere.
And obviously you're in the under-15s, and 2 years later you're in the first team squad. There's such a quick transition. How did that time period go for you?
I loved it because I wasn't probably the best pupil at school. So Bury agreed, and my school, high school, agreed that I only went into school on the day they had a football match. All the other days I could go in and train 2 years or a year above with the youth team. So I basically just played football every day. And then on a Wednesday, I'd had to go in school, and they'd just leave me with a PE teacher all day, and then I'd captain the school team after school, and that was like a year and a half of my life, school life.
What school was that? Is it local?
It's in Droylsden. It's called Little Moss. It's not down now, but yeah, it was. Should have been when I was there.
Still a statue outside though.
Yeah,
Dave
but
Worrall,
a few
team captain.
people. Yeah, Phil Picking went.
Yeah.
He was a bit for me.
So, as Mike said, obviously you made your debut 2 years later. What was that like, and how did that debut come about for you?
I travelled a couple of times. I think it could have been Chester or someone away. And I travelled, but I didn't make the squad. And then I remember in training, I was training with the first team on my first year scholarship, and I was doing well. And I've gone through Andy Parish, like gone in, smashed him, accidentally, not meant it, and everyone was buzzing, like laughing, like. So I'm just scared, thinking, what's he gonna do? But obviously, he was a good lad, and so he understood. And I think that just got me on the bench, and he had it just happened from there. That was Weymouth in the FA Cup, and then after that, it was Bristol Rovers one, and I came on. I think I touched the ball 3 times. One of them, I hit it miles wide, and the other 2 I gave away, and I'm sure they scored off one of them. So I was like, yeah, probably my worst 20 minutes of football I've ever played. And somehow I've got to move from it.
And obviously at the time, the squad was It's a bit of a weird squad because you had so many like big names in it when you look back now. Like there was Casper Schmeichel, there was Mark Pugh, there was yourself, there was Nicky Adams, Dale Stevens, all young talent in this squad. But then also like seasoned veterans like you had your Dave Flitcroft, your Brian Barry Murphys, Paul Scotts, Dave Challen, and Colin Woodthorpe. So what was it like for you being so young, being around all this squad and getting all this like information to set you up for your career?
It was good. It was good, like the old like your David Flitcroft people, you know, like them Woody, Charlie. But I was never thingy around them. Like, not being disrespectful, but I kind of knew, you know, they wasn't in the prime, they weren't coming to the end. So I'm coming up against that. I was a kid where I'd outrun any of them. I think I'm better on the ball even then. So I didn't really fear anything. You know, I didn't fear it. I just enjoyed it. You know, and then you have people like Nicky Adams, you know, you see his quality. You know, loved being around Nicky, just the way he was, just made me laugh. And, you know, just seeing the quality he's got. You know, your Dale Stevens, you kind of, it sounds a bit disrespectful, but you look towards them characters, you know, who are making the way instead of, you know, the other ones. Because they just had it and you could tell.
And that was the same season, wasn't it, that Nicky Adams made his debut, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sure as well.
Yeah. He was brilliant, Nicky. He was unbelievable.
So you obviously went through Andy Parish in training. Was there any more skirmishes like that in training?
Why? It was literally after that game, I had two bids, one off Liverpool and one off West Brom. So I went in training with Liverpool for a week and then went training in West Brom for a week. And then I come back and then I had to decide. So I didn't really spend that much time with the first team, you know, since my debut.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that because I was trying to remember. I always remember that you played one game, but then I couldn't remember how it went on from there. And then when I was reading online earlier, they said that you left at the end of the season, but then I thought, why would you have not played any games? So you must have gone soon after.
Yeah.
So like you said, those 3 touches can't have been bad.
Yeah, I went straight after.
Yeah.
So it was good. I loved it. Liverpool, you know, it was crazy because I had a private driver who was picking me up from my house and dropping me off in some Mercedes. And I'm a 16-year-old scrope from Manchester. And then, but that was training me like their under 21s. So I didn't really see the first team. And then West Brom the week after I just went in digs for the week and I had John Hartson picking me up, you know, and taking me into training, dropping me off. So it was brilliant. And that's why I chose West Brom, just because I was with the first team. You know, they promised me I would train with the first team. So it was an easy choice for me.
So obviously you've joined West Brom and you make your debut in the League Cup as a 17-year-old. What are your memories of that match?
I just remember we won. I was buzzing about the bonus I'd get. You know, you just think we're winning. I got on. I thought, right, get me appearance that. Should have scored. Wasn't meant to be, but I loved it at West Brom, just training, you know, with the players they had there. I remember when I first signed my first training session, the first team congratulated me. We went to train. We were just having a kick about before the warm-up. And Kamara, was it the striker, used to do the celebration at Fulham. He went, come over here. I was like, yeah. He went, in the mini goals, I hit top corner from about 30 yards away. And I thought, well, you've not got a chance. 2-5, submits a small goal, and he absolutely whips it and it goes in. And that's when I thought, I'm in trouble here. I ain't at Bury.
Yeah, looking at that squad now, like they've got some huge names in that West Brom squad. So what was it like you said, 17-year-old, and then you got the likes of obviously Chris Brunt, Kevin Phillips, Ishmael Miller, Paul Robinson, Dean Kiley as well, former Bury. It must have been such a weird transition, but a good transition at the same time.
Yeah, it was brilliant, especially with me. They looked after me, even like team nights out and stuff. They always got me involved. And because I wasn't driving at the time, they'd pick me up from digs, and drop me off whenever they could. But yeah, they was just good footballers. Manager was brilliant, Tony Mowbray. And he was always going to get promoted as well. The way they played was a different world from what I've witnessed.
So yeah, so as you mentioned, they won the league, got to the Premier League. So how was those conversations in the summer? Because obviously you went and joined Accrington on loan at the end of August in 2008.
Yeah, it was just to go get football, just to go get men's football. It was weird, Accrington, because I went and training, no one could get near me. I was by far the best player, and then I just couldn't take it into the games at the time. I was like a total different player in the games. So probably in a good way. After about 4 weeks, I needed a hernia. So it probably got me out of my loan, and got me back, probably just to reset. So in a way, I think, it was a blessing in disguise, the hernia coming then. So I could just chill out and then reset the button, get back fit, and then just reset and find a new club. And hopefully, it's not me, it's more probably the club.
And obviously, you did find a new club, and Bury fans, we're going to go through an awful time period here because you did join Shrewsbury, and who obviously knocked Bury out of the playoffs at the end of that year. What are your memories of that back part of that season? Because it was my first experience of playoff football, and it was such a heartbreaking way as a Bury fan. But obviously, playing and sort of the way that them two legs sort of played out, it must have been amazing on your side again, being so young and then getting to play at Wembley as well.
Yeah, I think the first leg where I was at Shrewsbury came on second half, and I thought I had a really good game. I thought I ran Fuchs, a bit ragged, did well. And then the second leg at Bury, it was absolute total domination from Bury. Obviously you couldn't score, then the red card happens, and then the amount of chances, any other day, you win that 4 or 5-0. And I think the longer it went on, kind of played into Shrewsbury's favour. And then once it was penalties, it was only going to be one winner, just how the game had gone.
Yeah.
A team having 10 men.
Then we'd missed a penalty as well, didn't we? Phil Jevons missed a penalty, or he got saved. So when you see that and then you go into a shootout afterwards, you don't have much confidence, I guess, do you? A couple more were saved, I think, as well, weren't they?
Yeah, and then I scored mine.
He says as he smiles. I always remember Luke Daniels for that. And is he at Barrow with you now?
Yeah, he's a goalie coach.
Yeah. I always remember because... Yeah. Yeah, it was good.
Just got the penalties up now. You're about to take yours. So you're taking yours, the fourth penalty taker?
Yeah, I was towards the end.
Wayne Brown nearly gets a hand on it, but there's a big celebration then against your former club.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm only joking.
I'm only 17, 18. I've got to enjoy it.
Yeah, there's Will, who sadly couldn't make it tonight, but he always wants players to celebrate against the former club, so he'd been happy with it. But then playing at Wembley, what was that like? Obviously, you've done all this and you're not even 20 at this point.
You know what? Yeah, I was heartbroken because I thought I played, when I came on, I did well. And then I played all the game in the second leg, an extra time, and scored my pen. And he dropped me the day before. I was absolutely heartbroken. I was in floods of tears in my hotel room, like, all night. I was like, just didn't expect it. I've done help, but lads seeing I was upset, come to my room, knocked on. You should be one of the first on the team sheet. You just stick by it, and then kind of got on, and it was out the game over. They was dominating the game. He was huffed and puffed really just to get over the halfway line. So yeah, it left a sour taste because Shrewsbury wanted me back the season after, and didn't want a chance after that.
How did you get over that then, as being so young and is such a big moment in your career? How did that affect you mentally, and how did you overcome that?
Hatred for the manager. I didn't laugh at that, didn't like him, didn't respect him, hated him. And whenever I come up against him, I made it clear. I've come up against his son as well, and I made it clear to him just because it was his son.
I mean, that's one way to deal with it. And then obviously, Bury come calling again in the summer. Was that a sort of an easy decision to make the return back to Gig Lane on loan?
Yeah, because you could see what they was building. You know, it was. I think after that season, you knew it wasn't going to go, backwards to what it used to be. You could see some, happening in the next few years, and with Nilla and the players they was recruiting. Just a great opportunity.
And it was a good season for you as well, being named Young Player of the Year. So we finished 9th, but only 3 points off the playoff. So you're going from strength to strength, and obviously it culminates in the year after promotion, which we'll go into in a minute. But that sort of 09-10 season with Nil, what are your sort of memories of that, and how was he as a manager? Because we had someone on the other week, it might have been Elliot Bennett, and he was talking about like how good of a man manager he was. So is that something that you sort of share the opinion of as well?
Yeah, he was class. He was really good. Remember pre-season, we went camping somewhere, and we had to stay out a couple of nights, overnights, freezing all night. And then the army guys are throwing little smoke grenades in the morning, getting up at 6. I'm like, what are we doing? And then, but then we all get punished because who was it? It was Bish and someone else got caught sneaking out because they didn't live far, and they got the missus to pick them up, so they stayed at home and they got caught, and we all got absolutely destroyed the next day for it. But the manager handled it well. He was brilliant with me, and that season we had a good season. I got injured, so I missed the end of it, which was gutting because you feel a bit guilty because we was only 3 points off. It's not in your hands. You're watching. You want to be in there, and try and change that. But yeah, as soon as that happened, I think the writing was on the wall for the season after.
I was just going to say we just won 2 of the last 10 games, didn't we? And then we missed out by 3 points.
Yeah.
After having such a good season and such a good squad, and then obviously we're going on to the next season as well when we got the job done.
Yeah, I think it was a crazy season, wasn't it? It was with nearly going, Bart's coming in, and it was a roller coaster. But luckily, we got the job done. We had a brilliant team. Nicky Josie, Ryan Lowe, MJ, Peter Sweeney, Shuey. We had Tom Lees. I thought he was brilliant. I always forget about him, but then Fox and Sodge. It's a team that you knew had the capabilities to do it, and it was nice to do it automatic instead of playoffs.
We'll go on to Chesterfield in a minute, but obviously in the January before that season, you'd signed permanently. So were all these signs there for you, and it was just, again, an easy choice to commit to Bury for a few years?
Yeah, it was either Bury or Grimsby, because Grimsby wanted me. Because Chris Casper was there. I think he was there as assistant manager, and they offered me a lot more money. So I went into Nilla. I don't know why he did it. He went, so how much do you want? So I just literally doubled what I was on. He just laughed at me. He went, I'll give you this, sign it, goodbye. I was just stood there going, all right, yeah. So he was brilliant. And then, yeah, I signed. I was happy just to get it done. And just be part of the team and just try and kick on.
So we'll talk about Chesterfield now, like such an amazing day for everyone who's attending. Obviously, there's a bit of a celebration back at Gig Lane, but what are your memories of that day as a whole?
Probably playing right back, because I had to play right back at the time because Pix was injured, and I don't know why I've wandered up there to score, because I shouldn't have been there. But I just remember it was like a basketball, the game. It was just back and forth. It was a hot day. It was absolutely bouncing. And at first I thought, this is going to be like 8-all, 9-all, because whoever shoots seems to score. I can't defend. Half of them couldn't defend. So, but it was, once Lowy scores that, it's game over. It was one of the best times, in my career, because it's one of the only times we've been automatic promoted. You have the summer off. We end up, I think we went to Spain for a couple of nights, and then that's when they'll sod you. Brilliant.
Yeah, Soji is a character, Dan. You've spoken to him the past 2 years, haven't you, for the Legends game and stuff like that?
He played in a charity game for us. Well, he was due to play in a charity game, but he didn't play. But he was a character, and he came down actually when the ground got repurchased after administration and stuff, and the ground was being reused. We hired it to play a game on there, just like within mates. And we had our old fans team, so Bury supporters team. And I just messaged him out of the blue, just randomly, just saying, "Do you fancy coming down and playing with us?" And he was like, "Yeah, fine." And then he came down and played with us. It was mad. Just came on, just played about 70 minutes at centre half for us. It was mad. He was class, like by far the best defender on the pitch. But and we're not very good.
Can he pass it 5 yards?
No, that's what I was going to come on to. We were passing the ball around, we took kick off. I think it was from the start, and we were passing it round, and we'd done about 15 passes or something. It came to Soji, and then he tried pinging the ball, and it's just gone straight out of play.
It was class. So when we was in Spain, a couple of us got Soji's room key from reception. So that right. So Soji hates cats, and we've stumbled across a black cat. So we picked it up. Walking through the hotel with the cat, thinking, right, you pretend to be Effie Sodja, go get his room key. So then we've got these little rooms, that are outside, like a couple of rooms. So then we throw the cat in his room, turn his lights off, close the door. So then we're hiding about 30 yards away, just like behind a bush. He's got to be back soon. We see him there. My days, he opens the door. Just see him running out. I've gone, hates cats. And he was like, not like his voodoo stuff. Like, and they ate black cats. It's like really one of the best things I've ever seen. Never seen him run quick enough.
Keeping on that Chesterfield theme, though, obviously you mentioned you scored the goal. When that ball's deflecting to the air and it's coming down to you, and you go on the outside, you thought, what's going through your head at that moment? Because you're in acres of space as well.
Yeah, I just hit it, and then as soon as I hit it, I knew it was going in. And then what I'm gutted with, I went to the Chesterfield fans. Is when the Bury fans was right in front of me. I was like, when I watched it back, I'm like, what are you doing? I just jump in there, get in with them. But I've decided to go for an argument.
Well, saying that, was that before or after all the fans ran on the pitch? I can't remember which goal they ran on.
Yeah,
after.
Yeah, because Dave's goal was the equaliser.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. What was that like when all the fans ran on the pitch?
It was crazy. Yeah, Belford got jabbed up there. Oh, brilliant.
That photo as well on the newspapers, literally of like the fist on his jaw as well, isn't it? Like someone's got the freeze frame of it.
Yeah.
What was he like? He did well not to respond.
Yeah, he was a nutter. He's a flying pig, innit? Called him the flying pig.
And slight correction, you scored the second goal before they equalised, so before anyone calls us out for that. And obviously the Ryan Lowe goal, it'll go down in history. Everyone's going to be speaking that from years to come. But what was your view of that goal and the celebrations that followed?
I couldn't see it, didn't have a clue what was going on. And then you just see him running away, and then, you're buzzing. But then you're thinking, it has to be Lowe. It's all about Lowe. Here we go. No, but he was made up. He was brilliant that season. It was just the way, for the size of him, the way he was. His hold-up play was good. He's in the air, and then his finishing just spoke for itself.
Especially him and Nicky Jose up front as well, both like quite small.
Yeah.
And they were so good together. Like Nicky, I just always remember Nicky Jose used to always win free kicks or penalties all the time. Like would always get fouled. He was so good.
Yeah, he was good. He was a bit of a strange lad. He was good though. He used to wear some horrible gear. So he'd be doing something, so we'd take his gear off out of the changing room, and we had to walk down to like lower gig to the training ground, and we'd put a mannequin in the middle of the pitch and dress a mannequin in his gear. He'd never laugh, wouldn't find it funny once. Like a little misery ass.
I think, like you mentioned about Ryan Lowe then as well, like that hold-up play was ever on show in the first game of League One as well at Huddersfield away, because his goal was taken so well, but we should have had a penalty as well.
Yeah, we should. We should have won. Absolute daylight robbery.
And again, another great away of attendance, and the goal was right in front of us towards the end, weren't it? So it's a decent way to start life in League One.
Yeah, I think we needed that because their wage budget, the players they had, was probably the top 3 in League One. And I thought we outplayed them, outworked them, out everything. And probably that's the game we needed to start the season with. One of the big boys to just say, look, we can compete with these.
And then another good season again for you. I believe it was Player of the Season that year.
Yeah.
So again, another little trophy for your cabinet.
Yeah, it was class. Richie, the manager, was brilliant with me. He was really good with me. He moved, but he moved me to Bury into one of the directors' houses because God knows how old I was, 19, 20. So, I was just living life as well as playing. But yeah, he moved me to Bury in one of the houses, and to be fair, it was a good thing. I can see why he did it, and it did help. But then I did cause carnage in Bury as well.
I was going to say, I remember seeing you once in Birdcage. So this must have been around that time because I was at uni and must have been the first year of uni. So that would have been summer of 2010, maybe, or 2011. And in Birdcage, I remember you saying that you had training the next morning.
Yeah.
On a Monday night. I think it was student night at Birdcage.
Yeah. It was. I did that, and then what was it? Was it Tuesdays? Had that Tuesdays. It was carnage. Never done it Thursday. Never done it on Friday, and then Saturday, and then Sunday would be a given. Have to be out.
So you were moved into a director's house for him to keep an eye on you?
Yeah. Couldn't do anything. But he did have like a jacuzzi and a sauna, so it was like, yeah, all right then.
And then, obviously, towards the start of the 2012-13 season, Richie Barker left. How difficult was that for you? Obviously, if you said he was good to you, and he obviously moves to, was it Swindon?
Crawley.
I knew they played in red somewhere.
Yeah, I was gutted. Didn't see it coming either. So, yeah, I was gutted. Didn't know because we lost MJ, we lost Ryan Love. And then, you start seeing things, differently, and you're like, what's next? And yeah, you kind of could see it. The tide was turning a bit on a football club, front.
Yeah, from that's like that season, given like how well of a season we did the previous season. Sorry, it's the first season in League One. Obviously, Ryan Lowe left and Mazika went as well. He went to Scunthorpe with Alan Neil. Yeah. And then Mike Jones went in January.
Huey left at the end as well, didn't he? Of the season.
Yeah. And even Carl Bennett left as well in July. So to lose like those 4 players. It's like Ryan Lowe, I think, looking at Ryan Lowe still finished like second top goal scorer somehow. And he went in August.
Yeah.
So to finish like that, and then the season afterwards, then as you said, things started to show about the financial issues and things like that. And Kevin Blackwell came in. What was it like? Yeah, I feel like you might have a story for us. What was it like being managed by him?
What was it? 44% win record. That's all he ever talks about. I think we lost 6 in a row. It's still on 44. Where's he getting this from? That's all he ever talks about. Yeah, my 44% win record. I'm like, we've been beat 6 games. Not one. He loved it. And then, yeah, he was... You knew it was bad when we're doing patterns of play against no one. So it's fine. Right, Wazza, you're going to cross it. You score. We'd score. And then we'd just jog back to get back and just, no. Get his stopwatch. Right. I'm going to time you how long you can drag a celebration out. I'm like... So we're scoring and he's running to the corner, like knee sliding, and we're all diving on him like minute and a half. Next one we do it. Can we get it closer to 2 minutes? I'm like, oh my days, what is going on?
You know how the season's going to go if you're dragging them out. I've heard that before. I'm sure Jermaine Beckford maybe I'm sure I heard him say something similar as well.
Yeah, wasn't it on Under the Cosh?
Maybe, yeah, he was talking about that.
Yeah, he was carnage. But I was a little shit at the time as well, so I didn't help causes with him because he was getting letters and stuff, from fans and complaints that like I've had an argument with a fan and threw a chicken burger in the kebab shop, but he's like, what you doing? Like, don't know. And
don't remember it.
I remember it was Cam Belford's fault. He started it. I'm just there trying to eat my chicken burger, and I'm like, oh no, right, you're getting it.
That season, and maybe typical to like what we think of like Blackwell and the money issues, Robin. There seemed to be so many players that just came and went, and even like you heard that people were playing for free and non-contract and all this sort of stuff. What was it like with players coming in? Because I remember we had like a load of players whose like brothers were like professional footballers. So we had Ewan Holden, who came in, he's like Stuart Holden's brother, and he's like never played professional football before, and he was playing for us. We had Marcos Navas as well. We had like all these random players. Even I'm sure John Rooney played a few games at some point during that season as well.
Yeah.
So what was it like with all those players coming in and that season in general?
Was it Doherty? Was it Wolves?
Yeah, we had him on loan as well. So we had some good ones, to be fair, because even I'm sure Danny Mayer came that season as well.
He was crap that season, Doherty. He's in Prem, captain. He was half the reason we lost. Him and the centre half. What's he called? Was it Zach Jules? Did we have that season?
No, the 2012-13
when we got relegated.
We had Adam Lockwood.
No.
We had Zach Thompson on loan from Leeds.
No, he was a midfielder. He was a centre back.
What do you look like?
I don't know why I've got Zach Jules. It might not be him. Ethan Lee, the Rochdale centre half now.
Oh, Ethan Lee Banks Landell?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, how bad was he?
Wow. He always just, he was a car crash.
But then he went up to play at a decent level. I'm sure he's played in like a championship for Wolves or something, or somebody afterwards.
I played against him pre-season. It was a joke. Best player on the pitch. Redskins, have you got me relegated? And look at you now.
Maybe just wasn't ready yet.
And obviously, you spoke out towards the end of the season about the board. Just how bad was that as a player? Without going into like too much detail, but how bad was that towards the end of the season with like the financial issues as a player?
I got paid on time. I got forced off the manager to do that.
Oh right, okay.
I was getting paid. I was playing week in, week out. So, I'd never have seen them, didn't really, ever have an argument. They just, Blackwell went, you're doing this. This is what I want you to say. This is what you want us to do. And I was like, well, I kind of owe you this because all the complaints you've had and you've saved me from getting fined. So, yeah, all right. It was because I was young still. Never knew how bad it actually was. Or understood what was going on. In that way, we never really got told much, unless we kind of got told what Blackwell wanted to feed us.
Because you weren't even 23 at this point, and all this is going on as well. It must have been so odd, and then the manager telling to say certain things as well.
Yeah, well, he saved me because during that season, I used to watch my mates play on a Sunday team pub, and it was short. And so they went, we just play. You'd be here at half time or just before. I went, go on, I'll play. So brilliantness. And I still need to find the ref. He so we're playing at like a top of the table clash, 5-0 up at half time, scored all 5. Unbelievable it was. Played up front. The ref's only come over with his phone, Googled me, and said, I knew it was you. I'm a Bury fan. I'm like, oh no. So I've legged it off the Astro, gone. Next minute, the FA have questioning me about it. And to be fair, Blackwell spoke to them, made up some lie why I did it, helping a mate out, and just got me just a fine and no match ban. So I was like, right, I've got to do something.
Did the referee have like sort of a shaved haircut?
I can't remember.
Because Dubsy, if I'm thinking of a ref that was a Bury fan, Victor Evans, do you remember him?
Yeah.
It might have been him because like he was sort of a bit of a character as well. So
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to know. I've seen him occasionally at games, so we'll ask him next time we see him.
Yeah. Or yeah.
Like,
Or if anybody's watching or listening and that was you, then be funny to find out, see who it was. Yeah, maybe they're not going to come forward actually.
Yeah, but it was carnage, like, under Blackwell. It's, for professionals, we wasn't professionals, really, and that's including myself, make myself accountable. The only thing that kind of got me away with it, is I just worked hard. Might not been good, but, worked hard where others wasn't good and didn't work hard. And, they probably didn't make it look as bad for me. But yeah, as a professional team, it was, the standards was miles off.
Yeah, we had David Healy that season as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, he scored. He kept up his record, didn't he, of scoring on his debut for every club. But then I don't think he scored after that.
No.
I'm sure it was a penalty at Coventry, I think.
Coventry away, yeah.
Yeah, and then he didn't score after that.
Yeah. I still today don't know what went on with Bury in the money situation that, after. Because I think it got to the end of the window and they accepted 2 bids for me. Well, they accepted 1, and then I didn't know about the Rotherham one until the day of. And he basically said, it was like the first one when West Brom and Liverpool came in for me. Chris Casper was manager and pulled me in, and I didn't want to go. This was before, trained with them for a week each. I was like, I don't want to go. I'm like, I like it here. And they went, no, we're taking the money. You go in. I was like, oh, okay. And it was a bit of the same. They just said, Clint needs some money. You've got to go. I was like, yeah. So I was like, yeah, sound, because it was Crawley at the time with Richie. So I was like, yeah, I'll go. Nicky Adams was there. Mike Jones was there. So I thought, I'll enjoy it.
And then obviously it was Rotherham that you went to, and then another character in Steve Evans. So 2 in a row, you must have some crazy stories from those 2 years that you can hold on to.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was Steve. Yeah, he's got a brilliant record. But he does get a shed load of cash when he gets a job, to spend. But he was the striker, big lad. Who was it? His uncle was the Leicester striker. Is it Eddie Akinbaye?
Adi Akinbaye was the former player.
Yeah, so his nephew played for Rotherham striker Coyote, I think he was called. and we're doing the shooting drill. So you got the changing rooms, cabins there. You got Steve Evans' room. Then you've got the training pitch, and we're doing it further up at the top, doing the shooting drill. And Coyote can't hit the target. He's missing everything. Steve Evans is in front of his office screaming all sorts at him, battering him. What are you doing? You can't score. That's why you're not playing. So he's had enough. Turned around and went, say one more word and I'll be over there or something like that. So I'm like, oh, never seen this. So then he's done another shot, missed it, miles over. So screaming like he always couldn't understand him. So Coyote starts walking. Like Traore the other night he starts walking, then starts getting a jog on, and he's heading towards him. You just see Steve like turn around, start waddling like he's a penguin, like into his office. Oh, and he's banging on, let me in. And he's like just swearing at each other. Oh, it was brilliant. And then next day he was gone. Got paid up, I think.
And yeah, looking at that squad at Rotherham, again, some good names. Also, names that Bury fans will know, like Nicky was there that year, 2013-14.
Yeah, I went Oldham when he came.
Right, okay, yeah. So and Joe Scars as well,
Yeah.
and Nardiello on the score list here.
Yeah.
So again,
I think he only started one game. We played Crawley, came on, scored. Played in a reserve game Tuesday, and my groins just lost all power, painful. So needed an up, had the up, and then the fitness coach was useless. Spent most of his day looking for holidays because he was retiring at the end of the season. So he wasn't asked. Just the rehab was crap. Came back, didn't feel right. But Steve Evans said, well, if you're not fit, I'm going to get rid of you. So then I think it did like 2 days trained. I couldn't move, literally couldn't move. Gutted, just in pain. He was making me get in like 8 and then leaving 4, making me do 3 sessions. I had to be in at the gym in the morning, going on the treadmill. Couldn't run. I was just breaking down. It's on the treadmill trying to run and just crying because I was in that much pain. And then played in a reserve game. And the reserve team manager, I thought we were sound, he was a good guy, I thought at the time, speaking to him. And I went to him and went, are you taking it? Oh, I'm dumb and dumber taking it. Because if you're taking it, let's play some decent football instead of just doing it. So then he just went, no, he laughed, I'm taking it. Next minute, assistant manager comes, gaffer wants you. So I'm like, all right, sound. Comes in, starts having a go, dumb and dumber. And the reserve team managers there, I was just staring at him going, cheers, you snake. So then came out and said, right, you gone. So I was like, yeah, sound, like, that's fine. Played the reserve game, elbowed, I think, some 17-year-old lad in the nose just to try and get sent off. So they brought me off and went, go home. So I was like, yeah, sound. Still couldn't run a move. And then, he just battered me, like making me run when I couldn't run. And then that's when Oldham took a punt on me and said, look, I think I had 3 weeks where I didn't play as soon as I signed, 3 or 4 weeks, and I just didn't do no running, nothing, just activation from my groins and my hips and stuff. Just did pure gym-based strengthening and then they got it fine. They got me back, to be fair.
And then that summer you moved to Southend permanently, but was there any talk of like coming back to Bury that year?
Yeah, there was bits. Yeah, was it Flickers?
Flitcroft would have been 2013-14, I think. Yeah, I'm old now, so I always forget. But it sounds about right because I remember doing stuff.
I spoke to Flickers when I was injured at Rotherham. But obviously I was injured, so they couldn't take me. That was the only combo, we had then. And then the only other combo we had after that was after my Southend, 2 years at Southend, but I didn't go. But yeah, Southend, crashed, drove up, crashed my car. That was a wrote off. had to get the chief scout pick me up, and then signed that day, but I couldn't train for a week because I had whiplash.
And obviously, we mentioned it earlier on, but everyone talks about the free kick that you scored against us in that season. A very good free kick, but sort of a weird game because it was called off on the Saturday and then the Tuesday after that.
Yeah, it was carnage. It was my first minutes back since I had a bit of time off. So it was weird. As soon as he picked the ball down, I knew he was scoring. Just one of them. But it was weird just scoring there because I probably never. It was bouncing that night. I remember that. I remember like watching the game because I started on the bench. I remember watching, thinking, "It's classes." I never really remembered it being like that. Even when we got promoted, I thought there was just a lot of energy, and I thought Berry popped Southend off the pitch as well. But same again, just couldn't score.
Yeah, it was free entry that night, weren't it, Dan? If I remember right.
Yeah. So the initial game, which like you said you wouldn't have been involved in, I don't think, or you weren't in the squad when I looked earlier, was it got abandoned after 6 minutes because the pitch was waterlogged, and then when the game was replayed, they let everybody in for free.
Yeah.
So I think there was nearly 9,000 there. Yeah. I think so. It was carnage.
Yeah, it was close. And then scored that, and then went straight into Manchester after because I had the next day off. Didn't get into like 5 in the morning. Absolutely flooded.
And then, so I don't know if it was then you were managed by Phil Brown, because we were obviously talking about characters.
Yeah.
You've got I feel like you've taken all the notorious characters that we've had in Football League. I feel like you've ticked them all off as your managers.
Oh, he was good, but he was a pain in the ass. So I don't think I started the game for him until the 11th, 12th game. Just wouldn't start me. And then he was pulling me, saying, chairman, asking me why you're paying your wages and you're not playing. And I'm like, oh, you pick the team, not me. And he's like, well, I need more. So I was like, all right. Got in the team, and then it kind of myself and career started after 11, 12 games. But Brownie was crazy. So if you pulled a muscle, he'd pull you in and start saying, oh, how's things at home? How's things with the missus, family, everyone okay? You're thinking, what's he on about here? And then but he thinks it's not because you're overworked or, you pulled your hamstring. He thinks something's going on in your life. That's why you've pulled it. And it's not that you're running 12K on a football pitch. So he was crazy. Like he was crazy like that. He'd lose it with lads. He'd argue. Sometimes I think for the fun of it, to see who'd argue back with him and who'd stay quiet. Half of it, I think he was just seeing what characters, what we like mentally. But yeah, first season, brilliant. Second season, absolutely carnage with him. We got beat off Swindon. I think we went 1-0 up early. We ended up losing 4-1. So he's come for me. I went, you, because I just rejected the contract. You're in tomorrow. There's a contract on my desk. We'll sign it and we'll see what you're about. So I was like, don't talk about my contract in front of the lads. This is a private matter. Don't be doing it now. So I did turn up the next day. So I got bombed off then for a few weeks. And then I was like, I'm not speaking to him. Got back, he brought me back because they weren't winning. And then seeing the season out, and then it was the awards too. So they've sat with, your sponsors and fans. So one of the lads comes and went, Gaffer's coming over now, bringing you a pint. I'm like, what are you on about? I'm sorry there. So I'm like, oh no. He's bladdered, by the way. He could drink, but he got bladdered. So he comes over with like a Foster's and a Carling, puts it on in front of the fans and says, shake me hand now. $2,000 a week. We'll get it done tomorrow. And I'm looking around, seeing fans there. I'm like, what? No, not now. Not now. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, he's basically, because I want far off $2,000 a week. So I'm thinking, he's telling people what my wage is here. I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm done here.
I was going to say when I was reading earlier, that was one of the things that was coming up was I think we played. I don't know if it was last game of the season or one of the games at the end of the season, and there's a quote from him that was saying that he basically wanted to go back to Bury, and that showed the way you played and stuff like that. And it was like there was 2 articles about it actually about you not signing a new contract, saying that you wanted to leave to go back to Bury.
Yeah, I don't know why he thought Bury, because I was never going back to. Actually, yeah, I spoke to him, but I spoke to Millwall, and I knew I was signing for Millwall, just because it's Millwall, and I just wanted to see the best chance of getting promotion again, and I just thought he'd be Millwall, at that time, and they was in the playoffs, so I had a chance, to be playing in the Championship, but obviously they didn't win. So, but I kept it very quiet, and he didn't know, and he thought it'd be Bury, just go back there. So he didn't. Yeah, it wasn't a great article from him. So I was giggling at that because I knew where I was going. So I like chuckling and say, "You don't have a clue here, mate."
Before we move on to Millwall, I just want to go back to that previous season after the free kick. Obviously, from a Bury perspective, it was fantastic. But from your perspective, how did that sort of few weeks play out? Because that result that you had at Morecambe on the final day set up our promotion, but then you sort of righted the wrongs from the Shrewsbury time by playing, and then obviously got promoted at Wembley as well.
Yeah. I think that game against Morecambe, we shit ourselves. Totally. And we was confident going into the playoffs because we was at Stevenage. Stevenage weren't great, on paper compared to our squad, say your Berries and like that. And then Wickham, I think we got battered off Wickham at their place and then drew at our place. So that was always going to be tight. But just the manner we did it, I think we scored in the last minute of extra time or normal time. And then penalties. It was an amazing day, to be a part of it. And just the way we did it. And then League One, I think we did all right. I think we had a good squad. We had a very solid squad. I knew we'd be right in League One.
And obviously, the Millwall experience, how was that for you? Because again, like you've sort of done a few sort of decent sized clubs, but Millwall at the time in League One are a very big club, almost like big fish in small ponds. So again, how was that sort of experience adjusting to life there?
Oh, I loved it. Loved every minute of it. Didn't play probably as much as I wanted, but the manager was. I never remember him speaking, about tactics, but he could give you a team title that make you kill someone. For him, he was just everything. Was just you'd run, you'd do anything for the guy. He'd do anything for you as well, and the club would. He was unbelievable. It's. Do we have regrets? Yeah, didn't play as much, but it's just, I can look back and just have good memories there with good people, and I'm still part of a promotion team. With it, fans are nutters. Like some of the stuff I've heard, like when I'm warming up, when I've warmed up, and then it's carnage. Where you're looking and you're thinking, you can't say that. You can't say no. That's not right. And you're like, what is going on?
And so for those listening and watching, they might not know Neil Harris was the manager at the time. And a quote from him when you signed was that you've become highly recommended for people that work with him. So that must have felt good that he's reaching out to these people and giving the glowing reports and then brought you in off the back of that.
Yeah, I think half the lads knew him because he's from Southend. He played for Southend. So a couple of lads knew him, and I think they wanted me at the time. It was basically get me out of jail because that's what it felt like for me at Southend. So I think they, helped push that.
And then obviously it's on to Port Vale, where you spent 6 years, the longest time period of your career. Was that a club that you felt at home to say to spend such a long time there and treated well enough?
Yeah, I think I'd say there's year and a half, maybe 2 years. The first of them was an absolute circus, but we just had a changing room where it was just carnage and we made the most of it. Like it was a jungle in there. We was we was eating pies, on a Tuesday from Saturday's games, Zinger burgers on a Monday, and we're eating in like this building in the club that's all damp. It's got all sorts. Half of the lads are ill half of the time. Yeah, it was carnage. Training pitch was crap. Managers was crap. It was couldn't win. It was a shambles. And then obviously the new chairwoman came in and changed the culture, what needed. But yeah, that first couple of seasons just weren't good enough. Players weren't good enough. The managers weren't good enough. We had Neil Aspin, who's a Port Vale legend, but couldn't even put 11 magnets on a tactics board. Kept looking around. Oh, I'm missing someone. Yeah, it's in your hand, gaffer. Trying to win football games and he's got 10 men. Well, there's 11's in his hand and you think, what chance we got? But stuff like that, we used to laugh, instead of get angry, say, no one would say anything, we'd just leave it in his hand, staring at it, and Casey would get his phone out and just pop it in between him and one of the other lads. So he'd record it while he's there going, I'm missing something here. Yeah, that's because we're playing a 4-3-2. We're missing the man's in your hand and he's recorded it and the lads are nudging, laughing. They're like, oh no. And then me and him fell out over something. He said he didn't trust me. And I said, that's fine. I said, if we're being honest, then I don't think you're a very good manager. Let's lay our cards on the table. So I didn't play for a bit. But he used to pedal in on one of the road bikes and leave it in the kit room. So he made me train with the youth team. So he was like, right, I don't want you in the first team. Go get changed elsewhere and you're training with the youth team. So I was like, I'm not going anywhere. I said, this is the first team training. And I said, I've trained with the youth team, but I ain't moving. So if you want me to change on my own, you better ask the lads to leave, because I'm not. So he was like, so then he left it, and then he'd come in, do meetings. He'd ask me to leave. So I'd sit outside, literally, like I was at school, waiting to be in trouble. The meeting would go, and then he'd walk out, and then I'd walk in going, hi guys, I'm back. And I could just see he'd always turn raging. But he'd pedal in on a road bike, and he left it in the physio room. And I thought, right, you're getting it now. I thought, I did his tyres in, popped in. I thought, and then just walked out, started training with the youth team. I thought, yeah. But he'd only come out on a Friday, but he'd be in the office, you'd knock on, gaffer, can I have a word? And them ab machines that, you bend with it. He'd just be there with his boots on, never took his boots off. There in his Puma Kings, just doing that on his ab machine. I'm like, he's doing that instead of coaching lads. Yeah, so yeah, he was, when he got sacked, it was it was needed.
We spoke to one of our current players the other week about the COVID sort of seasons as a non-league player. So as an EFL player, how was that for you, and how did that sort of couple of years go for you in terms of going from fans to no fans?
All right, I was lucky because I just, before it all happened, about 2-3 months before, I signed a new deal. So obviously I had that security. And then I think everyone just sat in the garden, didn't they, for God knows how, because it just seemed to be sunny.
Yeah.
And, just chilled. And then we do the odd online, like this, where you got to do a session. You're there, manager watching you do press ups. It's weird, this. What's the point? And then we got back in. Yeah, no fans. It's not great. You hear everything. It's crap. You can even hear the ball, just go whoop, and then it echoes.
Yeah.
And then obviously when they came back in, it's all systems go.
And then 21-22, you went to more of a sort of defensive position. Was that by choice, or was it something that they wanted to try out with you?
No, but he just asked, said, look, I need you to do this job. I'm going to this formation. I know you can do it. Basically goes out there. So he was in that Port Vale team at first. I was still a winger. I didn't really have to get back as much, as a normally someone would. I was more of an attacking wing back, so I was all right with that.
And again, at that end of that season, it was another trip to Wembley for you.
Yeah, he was good, really good. Like, just so happy for everyone involved, especially the chairwoman, because she has put a ton load of money into it. Probably sacrificed the business, for the football club, and not going too well for her at the minute. She's getting things said, but that's what happens, and it's about winning football games. But yeah, Wembley was brilliant. To get an assist, I think, from playing there, a couple of times, and then now to actually, I think it was for the third one, I got an assist. And like to have all my kids there and my missus, it was really good.
The summer after, obviously you've left Port Vale, but David Flitcroft was director of football at the time. Was that weird going from like a teammate to then someone in a position of power like that? And sort of how did that relationship change, if anything? Because like I imagine that Dave Flitcroft, the player, was quite a joker, but having been like doing media with him as a manager, there was like I could definitely tell the big switch. So I can imagine as a player from going to know him to being a manager might have been even weirder or stranger.
I liked him, but I didn't trust him. That was my opinion on how I felt about him. And yeah, he's got to look after his own job. He wasn't a player. He was director of football. I told him I was leaving. I asked the club. I had another year left on my contract that I wanted ripping up. Port Vale did offer me the 2 years that I wanted, but he basically lowballed me. Price, wage rise. So I think it was more to save face. So we did offer him a 2 year, but he's rejected it, and it didn't really sit well. Because when they come out and said that, I thought that's the only reason they did that. They didn't want me to sign, but they wanted to tell the fans, they have offered me the 2 years I wanted, so they didn't have a backlash. And I thought that's when I thought, don't trust you. Rich, was he looking after the club's point of view or his own? That's the only thing I question on that.
So then you left it and you went to Barrow. What was that like, moving up to Barrow?
Well, the train at FC United, so it's only 8 minutes away from my house. So we only ever go up Barrow on a Friday night and stay over. So it was like it's been closer to home.
Is that not still the case now? No.
Yeah. We're still at FC.
Is it?
Yeah, it's crap.
Oh yeah, we had not last season, the season before, because it was the first season back at Gig Lane and the pitch was awful because it had been left to rot. Towards the end of the season, the pitch was a mess and we had to hire FC United for a game. And it was better than what Gig was, to be fair, at that point. But then we played against Cheadle last season, didn't we? And it was Cheadle away, and it was second to last game of the season, I think. Second to last game of the season, Mike? Yeah?
Yeah, it was late.
Yeah, and Cheadle only holds 1,000, so it wasn't going to be big enough, so they hired FC United for that as well. And the pitch then was rock solid.
Jeez. We had, we don't train on the first team pitch. You know the Astro over the road?
Ah, right, okay, yeah.
You know the...
Yeah.
The grass, well, the farm field, basically. That's what we train on.
Why?
Because, to be fair, the club has spent loads on it. They tried helping it, but FC, like Moston under-12s, FC United Girls, just going out on a weekend when we're not there. So when we're trying to give it days to rest, they're killing it. So
But,
we train on Astro most of the time now.
but I still don't get it though. Why did Barrow train FC United?
Because it's easier, isn't it? Because like of the player location.
Yeah, it's
Okay, maybe, yeah.
it's just like recruitment wise.
Yeah.
You know, it's easier
Fair enough.
because in Manchester you can have your Liverpool, Leeds, you know, your Stokes, Crews, you know, players who live around there. It's a good area.
Yeah.
I think it's same for the club staff as well, Alex. I remember seeing a media job there a few years back, and it was based in the northwest, like our way rather than more towards Barrow.
Yeah.
So it makes sense when you put it like that, because it just opens the catchment area up.
Yeah. That's why we only have 6 subs, because we don't have any academy. So we have to have six on the bench. Can't have 7.
Yeah.
So obviously you were there for sort of 2.5 years before last month you made the decision to retire from professional football. How did you end up coming to that decision? Is it something that you've been planning for a while, or is it something that's been come on in more recent months?
No, I've had issues with me yet, and literally just one morning I couldn't bend down and get my sock on. I just literally sat back and just thought, what am I doing? You know, can I be bothered? So I just went in, spoke to the manager, director of football, just said, look, not training today. I've been brilliant all season, not missed a day's training, you know, been fit.
Yeah.
And then just recently hip started hurting, and just like bending down to tie my shoelaces, you know, was really painful. And I just had an injection a few months ago, and it's wore off now. It lasts 6 months, it's wore off, you know, not nowhere near 6 months.
Mm.
So I thought, yeah, I'm done in here. And then they just said, look, first team coach, you know, we want you to do it. So I was like, yeah, perfect. So you kind of worked, it was great timing.
And how does David Worrall, the coach, differ from David Worrall, the player?
I think it's more like, I wouldn't say it's more like driving, whereas because you're not on the pitch, it's not in your hands, you know, you can't do anything about it. And it's a lot more frustrating because obviously, you know, you work hard all week, and sometimes it can be a mistake, you know, moments lapse, you know, it loses you the games. And then I'd say I won't know what the joy is yet because we've not won since we got it.
So when you're making that transition, did you speak to anyone like Nicky Adams? Obviously, he played for us last year, retired, and then went into Wigan, or any other former teammates in making that transition from playing to coaching?
Yeah, I spoke to Nicky. We actually played Wigan in the FA Cup. So obviously Lowy and Nicky was there. And at that time, I applied for the Bury manager's job. So I spoke to Nicky. I said, oh, do you know Dave? He went, yeah. I said, I'll speak to Dave for you. So then he gave me his number. So then obviously sent my CV in, stuff like that. And then I give Dave a text, and like we exchange a couple of texts. Then obviously they went with Jolly, didn't they? Which, you know, that's football, you know, it happened. And then obviously that didn't work out. And then it was the Leeds, wasn't it? But yeah, I went to, because I live around the corner from Curzon Ashton, I went to the Bury Curzon game.
Yeah, the Premier Cup.
Yeah, so I went there, and then I think I spent the first 10, 15 minutes with Dave McNabb, you know, just basically just talking all things football, really. You know, like just first time meeting him, just to introduce myself. But I think I didn't really apply to get it. But everyone I spoke to said just apply for jobs and, you know, experience interviewing. You know, because they said that's the most difficult thing about it is, you know, that's where you'll learn what's good, what's not so good, you know, how to present yourself. like your presentation, your ideas. So I kind of went in for it for that. But obviously, if I would have got it, then it's probably think different, don't you?
I mean, yeah, that's probably the greatest exclusive we've ever got on the podcast. If you did get the manager's job, the big question is: are you tracksuit or a suit manager? Because there was someone in the league below.
That's what it looks like.
It's all right, actually.
Yeah, it's decent.
Yeah. Some clubs have some awful ones, don't they?
Yeah, they are smart, I think.
Because there was a team in the league below. They had the manager who wears a suit all the time, and he got absolutely slaughtered because that was like tier 9.
Yeah.
So
I don't think suits. I think smart cash you can get away with.
Yeah.
But yeah, no suit.
And sort of, how did you sort of find that sort of a few chats with Dave initially around the manager's job, and did you feel comfortable coming down to such a low level? Because obviously it's a different world for you compared to what you've been through throughout your whole career.
Yeah, well, at the time I was still playing, so I was thinking, like player manager, do both. But it was more for the experience of interviewing. But it's coming down, when you say the lower levels. Last season I was on loan at Kidderminster, for the last two years. The levels aren't that far. All it is people are still stronger, from League 2 to, your National League North, stuff like that. Like Bury, what I watched, thought it was good. They're the same speed, same strength. All it is moments, the higher you are, the better in those moments, scoring a goal, stopping a goal. And, everyone's the same, in Bury's division now. I bet you're up there because they've got players who punish the moments, when the other team make a mistake or when they're trying to score, they make the right decision to block, be in the right place. That's, it's all the same, whatever leagues you're in. Unless you're the Premier, then they're just a joke. So,
well, Maxfield did it. But I was going to ask, obviously, you came to that Curzon game. What were your thoughts on that? Because obviously we played quite well, and I thought we were unlucky at the end.
I thought first half you dominated. It was you should have. The game should have been dead and buried. I think the big lad up top, Traore, I think it was his first or second game for years. So obviously, I think another day he scores 2 or 3 in that first half alone. But yeah, you should have been out of sight. But I knew second half because I've watched Curzon quite a bit because my kids play for the juniors there. I knew they was going to make a change and I knew it would have been different. And I thought they got back into it and then they just scored at the right times, got the goals. But, could have nicked some at the end, to get back in. That's what I'm meant to be. But yeah, I think that's one of them. There's not many games where you have total 90 minutes of domination. I think it's the same in League 2. The other team always gets back into it. And if you're not got that 2 or 3 goal lead, it's an open game. I think that was what happened with the Bury.
You mentioned player manager there, and it brings us on to like the most questions we've had around you coming on tonight. And if things were different, say you didn't have that injury that made you choice to retire, people have been asking, would you ever consider a return to Bury towards the end of your career?
If Barrow didn't offer me a contract last season, I would have got in touch probably. But obviously Barrow offered me, another year that I didn't expect. Didn't whatsoever, because I thought, well, all I knew is I was out of contract. I was on loan at Kidderminster and I thought, I'm out. I did well for Kidderminster, but I wasn't going to sign for them because I wasn't doing that travelling. And no one else wanted me. So I thought, well, I could potentially get the season done with and then contact Bury. But I don't know why, how, but Barrow decided to offer me another year.
So we wrap all our interviews up by just doing some quick fire. So it's nice and easy, sort of first thing that comes into your head.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Ronaldo.
Favourite ground you've played at?
Wembley.
The worst ground you've played at?
Oh, Accrington.
Best match.
No, Rochdale.
Yeah.
Good answer. Best match you've played in?
Probably Port Vale v Mansfield at Wembley.
Who's your football hero growing up?
Goals.
If you could have one dish for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Ooh. I don't actually know. Probably fajitas.
Solid.
And what is your Nando spice level?
Very same.
That sounds like you've got some views from that in the past.
Yeah, I don't tell anyone that.
What would be your perfect 5 items on a full English breakfast, and toast is free?
Sausages, bacon, beans, black pudding, hash browns.
There we go. Someone who loves the berry black pudding.
Yeah, I do like very bad pudding.
Is there anything that you would get rid of from football?
VAR.
It seems like everyone goes for that answer. And finally, do you have any superstitious pre-match routines, or did you have any pre-match routines?
I always put my left shin pad on and left boot on first. Don't know why, I just always seem to do it.
By habit, yeah. We've had some few answers like smelling salts. So have any former teammates that stand out of like weird stuff that they did before the games?
Remember James Wilson? Was it United?
Yeah.
Was it Port Vale with him? Brilliant guy. Weird though. So he'd go out, do the warm up. He'd come back in. I was sat next to him because I was 7. Whoever was 8 was injured quite a bit. And then he'd be 9 next to me. And he'd go pale. So he'd be there, take your warm up stuff off and then get your match top on with GPS. And he'd go dead pale. And he'd start throwing up before every game because the anxiety. This is a guy who's played in the Prem, played in big games and scored goals. And he was like nervous and anxiety, like playing for Port Vale in League 2. Couldn't believe it. But every game, like, he'd be there, wetting, pale, throwing up.
Managed to control it somehow because he scored a fair decent amount of goals, didn't he, for Port Vale?
Yeah. I couldn't believe it how you can play that high in front of all them fans, because that's pressure playing for United. That's not pressure playing for Port Vale for him, surely.
Today's episode of the Mighty Shakers podcast is brought to you by Eye Level, the UK's biggest name in sunglasses and reading glasses, and proud supporters of buryfc. Based right here in Bury, Eye Level have been in the game for over 30 years, offering more than 1,000 styles, from sports shades to festival fashion, classic gents frames to bold women's looks, and even safe, stylish sunglasses for the kids. They've also got a brilliant range of reading glasses, perfect for everything from your holiday novel to scrolling socials. And just for Mighty Shakers listeners, Eye Level are offering 10% off and a free gift. Just use the code Mighty Shakers at checkout. Search for Eye Level and Mighty Shakers online, or head straight to eyelevel-uk.com. Eye Level, proud sponsors of buryfc and the Mighty Shakers podcast.
So thank you to Dave for joining us. That was probably one of my favourite episodes we've done with a former player. A lot of good stuff in there. Could have been David Worrall's Barmy Army. Who knows how the future will plan out. Obviously, last couple of games since the last episode, Stafford and Chasetown. We'll talk about Stafford first, then go on to that Chasetown win. 2-2. Obviously, we brought in Joe Pigott. So we sort of knew that he wasn't a striker, but then he started up front and I was quite impressed with him. I'd arguably say man of the match for that game. Really impressed with him. Didn't realise how big he was in terms of size. Held the ball up excellently. Looks like a good DJ replacement in terms of that big physical front man. Won most of his aerial duels, and they had 2 big lads at the back as well. I thought him and Mo Toure worked nice together. Sad that Mo Toure missed a penalty. It always seems to be that whenever I record penalties, we miss them. DJ, rusty, and now Motore. So if we get a penalty, you see me get my phone out, just twat it out my hands, and I'll understand. Then they go up the other end and score. I didn't think they offered much. They were very much a hoof team. It was, I think Tim said in his post-match, the goals come from 2 mistakes. They played the ball over. I don't think the run was tracked, and they chipped Mitch Allen. And then we equalise shortly after half-time. Bailey Sloan. Bit of a weird goal, because I don't know if he's trying to cross it, but it was sort of, if people have seen the highlights, so if you were there, the ball, they play the corner short, it goes back out to Leo Graham, he puts it in the box, I think it's a header from them that comes back out, and he sort of just puts it back on its way into the box, but it's got a decent-ish power and it's looping. Keeper is sort of rooted to the spot, and then it nestles in nicely right in front of us, so that was good. After that, it was all one-way traffic again. I thought we were good. We also brought Lewis Ross on. I thought he was unlucky not to start with how he's played over the last few weeks. And he was the difference maker for that goal, because I don't know if he was offside, but I'll take it because there's so many dodgy offside decisions in this league. But he gets it down the line. You think it's going out. He pulls it back and Motore's there and sent everyone wild because it was like 1 minute left. And then sadly, again, we just... you might have seen Dan's tweet about dogs not being allowed at Chase Town the week after because we can't hold on to a lead. It comes from the mistake. I don't know what we're trying to do. We should have passed it back to the centre-back, the new centre-back, whose name escapes me at this moment in time because it's been a very long week. He could have hoofed it away. And instead it comes back to them and they score. Yeah. And again, it's 2 points dropped, and with the way the league's going at the moment, we could have done with those 2 extra points because we could have been top at this moment. What were your thoughts on that match, Dan?
Yeah, I think we were probably unlucky, like you said, like with the points that we're dropping, but then lucky at the same time that teams around us have dropped points as well, and we're still there, aren't we? We're still 3 points off the top as it stands currently after Runcorn's win last night. Just a shame, isn't it? I think if we'll go on to Chase Town, but if we can start to keep clean sheets again, then we'll be in a better state, won't we? Like, similar to last season, and maybe bang on to last season where we won 15 games in a row. We've now got 14 games left, haven't we, after winning a game? And last season, we showed up at the back and started to grind out wins and seemed to manage games better with clean sheets and seeing them out. So maybe that started to happen because we've got goals in us. We just need to find that confidence, don't we? And then shore it up at the back. But yeah, just a shame that it was just another 2-2 draw, especially after the Dallison one.
Yeah, and then also we followed up with a Chase Town win. So I missed out. I was in Paris. But again, it's a good solid win. I enjoyed checking the updates. I did feel a bit nervous towards the end of the game. Yeah. When just the life as a Bury fan, that will never change. You're always nervous when we got a 1-0 lead, even from the Football League days. Going back many years, it was a good win because obviously Chase Town had beaten Lowbreck.
Yeah.
Was it the week before in midweek? Leo Graham again scoring, and we're up to third. And the way results are going at the moment, who knows how the rest of the season is going to pan out, because Lowbreck seem to be on a bad run. Obviously, Runcorn had beat them in midweek as we're recording. On Wednesday, they beat them last night. No, they didn't beat them last night. They played Runcorn played Lowbreck on Saturday. Chase Town lost against Runcorn last minute last night, but Lowbreck are on a bit of a bad run of form.
Yeah, but Runcorn beat Lowbreck a few weeks ago, didn't they, 4-2? As well.
Yeah, so like I don't know. Again, like I couldn't tell you what's going wrong with Runcorn, but at the not Runcorn, Lowbreck, but they just seem to be in free fall at the moment.
Yeah, I think the game when they played Runcorn, they got beat 4-2. They didn't have a full bench, and I was reading into it, and they were saying that they had players missing from work and stuff like that, and then the subs were kids, I think. So I don't know if they've been missing out on players, but obviously they got beat again at the weekend. And then they've got a tough game at Runcorn, who are certainly turning it around now under new manager Ellison. He's brought a few players in, hasn't he? And they seem to be picking up form. Well, I think they drew at the weekend and then won last night. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. See if
Lowbreck's results in January. They beat Avro 3-1. They lost 2-1 against Chase Town at home as well. They rarely drop points at home. Then, as you mentioned, lost to Runcorn 4-2, and then lost to Darlston as well. last Saturday, the 31st. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they'll probably bounce back at some point. They've got Runcorn, then Whitton into Trafford in a week. So I imagine they'll pick up points against Trafford. Whitton seem to be sort of hit and miss this season. And then obviously they'll be looking to pinch points off Runcorn to go back above them. But again, yeah, we said it a few weeks ago. As long as we just keep focused on us, we've not lost for a while. I can't remember the last time we lost, but again, it's probably because I'm old.
Before the Atherton game, before the Coles game.
Yeah, so like we've not lost in a while. It's just converted them draws into wins, and we should hopefully pick up a win on Saturday against Trafford, who are bottom of the league. I don't want to jinx it. Obviously, we played them away, only won 1-0. Kieran Glynn penalty, but they are bottom after 29, played 19, so they are 9 points from safety at this current moment in time. Minus 17 goal difference, having only won 4 games all year. But yeah, what are your thoughts ahead of that match?
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to jinx it, especially because you said that you would expect Littlebrec to pick up some points when they play in Trafford, one of those games. But yeah, they definitely seem to. They picked up most of the points away from at home anyway. Not so good away from home. Not so good generally, but I think we should expect to win, shouldn't we? It'd just be interesting to see how we play, because there's been a bit of a change in shape last 2 games away from home. Whether that's going to be the same at home or we're going to go back to playing how we were at home, and it's more of a change for the away fixtures. But we've got to just go in and fancy ourselves, haven't we, and just be confident attack and try and put some of the chances away, because the story has from the last couple of home games has just been having so many chances and missing them, missed penalties as well. But yeah, we've got to fancy ourselves. It's a big next 2 games, Trafford and then Wythenshawe Town as well. Wythenshawe Town, obviously they've just got rid of the managers, haven't they? But those 2 being down the bottom, and the way that the fixtures are going at the moment with Runcorn playing Littlebrec, we've got to get 6 points, haven't we, and keep ourselves up there and just start to build a run and get some confidence back.
All we've got to do is keep ourselves in conversation. Let the results, like if we keep winning, let everyone else do what they want to, because they'll still, like, all their fans will still talk about us and stuff. Like Runcorn on top of the league and they're still talking about us. So like obviously we're in the heads of everyone. It's just focused on us. Because if we don't win, then there's the issue. So like we keep performing well, pick up the points, as you say, keep the clean sheets and let everything else take care of itself. But as you mentioned, Trafford are in a bit of better form. They are unbeaten in their last 3 games, having drawn against Mossley on last Saturday. They beat Clitheroe and they beat Coles as well. So 2 decent results for them, but then they did lose against Wythenshawe Town, obviously a relegation rival at the start of the month. So form does seem to be a bit all over the show. And as you mentioned about their away form, they've only had 6 points away from home all season, 1 win and 3 draws. So hopefully pick up a win there. And as you mentioned, Wythenshawe Town. So I missed Trafford. I'm on my Northern Europe cruise. We get back from the Bruges on the Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, disembark ourselves and straight up to Wythenshawe Town away. So I won't be on next week's episode as an episode. So you got to listen to Dan and Will and whoever they may get on. And then I'm back for the week after that.
No Mike, no party.
Exactly, that's what they say.
Yeah, and the Darlaston manager resigned as well.
Yeah, we're going to say on to other news around the league. Obviously, we mentioned Runcorn going top. Deflected free kick, thought the keeper could have done a bit more. And yeah, as you mentioned, Darlaston manager Dean Gill resigned this morning. Seemed to be he walked before he was pushed. Judging off his statement, he said it wouldn't be his last job in management or something along those lines. Obviously, we saw them lose against Stafford. That was Stafford's first win for a long, long time. Obviously, they picked up the point against his first win, and then he kept them on the pitch after everyone had gone off, which apparently they do after every game. Yeah.
Well, they were doing it at a gig, weren't they? So.
Yeah, and then obviously, as you mentioned, Wythenshawe Town have got rid of their manager the next week, and hopefully they'll have a new manager bounce. Interestingly, we had a former player have a sort of come and get me plea. Joe Adams on Twitter, I think it was Liam James who tweeted him saying to come home, and he was sort of receptive to that. And he did follow the podcast, strangely, which I saw and I was like, oh, that's interesting, because like I think he was at the club 2018-19.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll have to get him on the podcast because Will was scouting for Brentford at the time, wasn't he? And he was watching Joe Adams, and he recommended them when they signed him from us.
As in Will Leach?
Yeah.
No, he was scouting for Brentford?
Yeah.
On Football Manager or in real life?
No, in real life.
There's no way they had Will scouting for Brentford.
Well, we'll have to do an episode and Will can be the guest and we'll ask him all about it. I put it on the WhatsApp last night. I said it was either one that you were scouting because I can't remember who the head scout was that we had at Bury. I can't remember what his name was. He went to Brentford basically.
Right.
And then Will was watching games and plays and stuff in the Northwest.
How have they gone on to be so good with that idiot?
Why do you think Will's so good at Football Manager?
He's not good at Football Manager because he can't even get the new game to work.
But
That's
it'd be
beside the
interesting.
Yeah. And then obviously Scott Duxbury, former podcast guest, he's gone on loan to Hyde again with your mate Mike Clegg.
He played 9 minutes both games, which is good for us. It was given that he's just going to get match fitness and come back. 2 draws for them since he's gone and Mike Clegg's taken over after his short spell out of football, a few holidays and then back. So, yeah, fingers crossed for a win on Saturday against Trafford. 3 points, keep us going and get us nearer the top. Keep going.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is it for it this week. Any Shakers shout out, Dan?
Just to you, mate. I hope you have a nice holiday.
Thank you. Yeah, going to Hamburg, Rotterdam, Amsterdam, and Bruges.
Yeah.
And then Wythenshawe.
Lovely. Nice.
Can't complain.
I'm flying. I'll be going to Hamburg at the end of the month for my, I've got to fly to Hamburg to be able to fly to Vienna.
Nice.
Travel there. So, yeah, I'll let you know what the airport's like.
Yeah, I've started to get my work dates as well for the rest of the season. Sadly missing a few games. But unfortunately, work pays the bills.
It's a disgrace.
It is. Well, normally when I don't go to games, they play well and win. Chase Down being the biggest example. So maybe I'm the curse.
Yeah, all of them then. Keep you working on Saturdays. Yeah. Right.
But yeah, thank you for listening. Hope you all enjoyed. If you're listening on Spotify and whatnot, make sure you're following and subscribing to get everything landed into your inbox every week. And if you're watching on YouTube, drop a subscribe. Subscription. Long week. Take over.
Just click subscribe. Click subscribe, please.
And yeah, up the Shakers.
Up the Shakers.